What's crack-a-lackin' there, John Meister? For the first part of your workout today, we're just going to be doing some seated banded rows, and we're going to be doing some isometric push-up holds as well. So for your seated banded row, if you remember, you're going to be getting this guy, whack them around the middle of your foot, get your feet a little bit wider apart if you want some more tension on the band, get your feet a little bit narrower if you want it to be a bit easier. From here, you want a vertical torso, pull your shoulder blades back and down, row your elbow in towards your pockets, and try and keep the band itself in line with your knees throughout the entirety of movement, in line with your thighs. So let the band trace against your thighs there, do not pull it high, just keep it real low, keep that chest super proud, pull the shoulder blades once it's back, and we're looking at you bringing them back, going 1, 2, 3, forward, back, 1, 2, 3, forward, and so on for between 10 and 15 reps. The next movement that we get into is the push-up isometric hold. Now you're going to be doing a lot of different press-up variations throughout your training. We're also going to be doing a banded shoulder press variation as well to allow you to be able to get some different angles with your pushing movements. But the reason why we're going to be doing different angles of push-ups and different rep styles, for instance, what we have been doing is push-ups with what we would call a dynamic contraction, which is where we move in and out of the movement. But with an isometric contraction, you just are holding certain positions, and it allows you to be able to build strength in certain areas of the movement where you might be weakest, where muscles just need to be developed a little bit more. For instance, if you struggle getting off the floor for the push-up, then chances are the shoulders are a little bit weaker in comparison to the triceps or the chest. So we can do certain holds that are closer towards the floor. Just build up the hold down there and incorporate that throughout the week with different movements, and we'll build strength in the push-up quicker than just doing a standard press-up type variation alone. The better we get at the variation, the quicker we can move on to harder variations, the quicker you'll be able to build muscle. So for the isometric push-up, here is what we're looking at doing. We're going to be starting off first with a version that is bent at the knees, and if everything goes well, then we'll advance the variation from there. So you're going to get yourself down to the floor, get your elbows into your sides, your hands should be between your stomach and your chest, and you're just going to go about one hand space wider on either side, cross your legs over each other, push up to the top, and then once we're here, we're going to tuck your elbows in, slowly lower yourself down until your elbows come in line with your back, or you feel like you're about 4 or 5 inches off the floor. And just to make life a little bit harder, get that butt a little bit in the air as well, don't let it slop right down there. So butt up, elbows tucked in, lower myself right down, elbows in line with the back, and I'm just going to keep myself here as much as I can do. I'm going to keep pressing through the floor, I'm not relaxing or nothing like that, but I'm just holding this position down here, and we're going to be there for between 15 and 30 seconds in an ideal world. Hope you enjoyed the movements, brother. Boom. The next movement that we're going to be getting onto is a dumbbell banded press. All you're going to want to do is get hold of your dumbbell, whack the band round them. You want to just whack them just round the top of your dumbbell, so if I'm holding them there, it's just round the top of my hand. And now I'm just going to bend my elbow so the band is travelling from behind the arm. Get a little support, press the band down with your foot, so let's get them in there, about halfway in the foot. Give them a big push down, so we're just standing up, and now you'll see that the band is on the outside of my arm. I can turn the dumbbell out towards the side, and we're just going to press straight up from here. The band is going to be actively dragging your elbow down constantly throughout the movement, and the tension is going to be varying constantly. So even if it's not as heavy as your traditional dumbbell presses, this is a really challenging movement to go through. You want to keep your technique as close to the seated dumbbell press as you can do. We're just going to be standing up. You want a tight core. Dumbbell should be just above your shoulder joint or elbow, just a couple of inches below your armpit, and then pressing straight up from there until you get to that full extension, down nice and easy. That red band should be able to take that full extension, no problem out there. We are going to be looking at 3 sets of just up to 10 reps of the session, and if everything goes well, give us a holler, brother. Boom. The next movement we're going to be going on to is one for the glutes, which is going to be the hip thrust with a lateral press at the top. And we're going to get a little bit more anal about your actual hip thrust technique itself. So when we're doing the hip thrust, there's a couple little cues that we want to try and be aware of to be able to activate even more muscle inside the glutes due to the other functions that it can do. One of the functions is rotating the thigh. So imagine this arm is your leg. If I put my hand on the floor, I have my elbow pit turned in, and I screw my hand into the floor so my elbow pit is facing forward, I'm trying to rotate or screw my arm in towards the ground. I'm going to try and do the same kind of thing with your legs. Your feet should be facing straight forward, but I want to be trying to screw my feet into the ground from the ankle all the way up to the top of the thigh. When you do this, you should feel like you come up onto the arch, so your feet are a little bit stronger than before. And we'll be activating some more muscles inside the glute, such as the piriformis, which main function is to externally rotate the leg. So if we don't try and have a little bit of pressure on doing that, it doesn't really consciously activate during the exercise. The other thing that we want to try and get better at is the hip tilt, and having the hip tilt happen as you're coming towards the top of the movement and not as a separate movement towards the top. So if we know the hip tilt, boom, getting the extra inch. What we're looking at doing is, as we're pressing up, we start tilting up about there, so we come straight into the lockout and not coming into the hip thrust, and then doing the lockout kind of separately at the top there. So that's feet screwed in, hip tilt happening as we're coming up, and the last one is to pull the belly button into the back of the spine. So that is feet screwed in, pressing up, we do the hip tilt, and the belly button's pulled back in, feet screwed in, hip tilt, belly button screwed back in. But then the last thing that we're changing, because this is the hip thrust now with the lateral press, is that we're going to put the knees against the band when we come to the top of each rep. So this is feet screwed in, hip tilt coming up, belly button pulled in. When we're at the top, we're just going to go knees out, bring them back down. So feet screwed in, belly button pulled in, hip tilt coming up, press against the band. Using your red or your black band just underneath your knee should be good for this one, and we're looking at 3 sets of 10 to 15 reps. Boom. After you've done all those movements, the last thing you're going to want to finish off with is 3 sets of 8 to 12 split squats. I know that you're doing a lot of split squats right now, but when we have a talk on the phone, I'm going to talk to you and brings clarity about why it is that your leg training is made the way it is at the moment, and let you know the kind of direction that we're going to head in from there, because there's plenty of advancements that we can still do, but a lot of your strength work for your legs is going to come from single leg work right now, whereas your power and your endurance is more going to come from the two-footed jumping based variations. So yeah, enjoy.